It's Monday. What can I say? Week 4 starts of this training session. Monday's a rest day, so I guess technically I've had a good day and I've succeeded. Woke up this morning, 196 in there, and that's telling me it's a win because for weeks and weeks I've been in around the 197, 198, 199, up and down depending on the day. And I'm down about a pound, pound and a half, and it might not sound like a lot, but it's actually noticeable. And I attribute it partly to the fact that I had those issues traveling here and the flights having us run from one terminal to another and not being able to eat or sit down or anything like that. And then, of course, just, not overeating, not eating junk food, which I haven't been doing for a long time. I did find that I was going to mention it this weekend. I had some drinks, right? So we had bought, I had a few cocktails. And just to give you an idea of my past history, I'm the type of person that I'm not a one drink kind of guy. And I was a huge beer drinker. And the average that I would drink in terms of beer, if I was to have a sitting, being my personality, you can imagine if I've done 12 Ironmans, I take things to the limit. So on average, I would drink about 18 beers on a sitting. Now, Coors Light or Amstel Light, so they were light beers. I'm watching my calories, so to speak. That's a sarcastic joke. But that's how much I used to drink, and I also didn't really stop. Would spend till 4 in the morning, so whatever it took. Having a good time, laughing. We have a bar in our basement, which I'm sure you may have seen it in some of the other vlog videos. And Alice and I would just sit down there and chat and have a great time and listen to 70s music and all that sort of stuff. So I was the type of person that really liked to party. And the one side effect that I've seen with Mounjaro that's been pretty positive, at least in my life, because my biggest regrets, if you said, hey, Brian, when do you regret things? I'll tell you, when I've drank too much and then situations happen because you've drank too much and those are the biggest regrets. The decisions I made, some of them while I was drinking. And I even got off Facebook with family because of some of the stuff I would say. Don't drink in Facebook, right? Or do any of that sort of stuff. But anyway, so after I got on Mounjaro, the immediate thing that I noticed was that I didn't want to drink anymore. And I don't think I touched a drop of alcohol for at least 6 months after I started. And in fact, there's many a story, on the internet or, I was watching TikTok videos and on X where people say, I was a heavy drinker and now I'm on Mounjaro and I don't feel like drinking. And then there's people that said I couldn't quit smoking and they got on Mounjaro and now they don't smoke. Others that are doing gambling. And obviously that, Mounjaro is a GLP-1 that works with your stomach or your, intestines. But it also has something that works in your brain and it deals with some sort of receptors. So I'm assuming that there's something there. I'm not a doctor, even though I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Another dad joke, but if you're old enough, you'll know what that meant. But anyway, it does something to you that you don't want to drink. So jumping back on Saturday, had drinks, and this is interesting. Had some Tito's and some Diet Coke, and I think I maxed out at about 3 drinks. I had poured a fourth, and stiff drinks, but it was like a full drink. I just couldn't drink it, and never really got a buzz or anything like that. I know some people that are on Mounjaro, one of two things happen, is either they drink very little and they automatically feel drunk, and then other times you'll drink it and you don't feel the effect at all. I can say this, it was about 6 months after, we go to college football games in the summer. It's one of the things we enjoy doing. We, you know, drive 4 or 5 hours and we'll go to Michigan, or, you may see some of the jerseys I'm wearing. We'll go to Penn State. We've been to Ohio, just fun, the atmosphere. And so we went to Pittsburgh this year, and it was the first time I decided, okay, I'm going to have drinks. And I had a lot. And when I say a lot, it was probably about almost the full, let's say 20 ounces of a 26-ounce bottle of vodka. So pretty much almost the whole bottle. And so I woke up the next day, and I normally never would get kind of hungover or anything like that. I was out of it for 2 days. And they do say that on Mounjaro as well, that if you do get drunk or, drink too much, that the hangovers are insanely, wickedly crazy, hard, unbearable. And I can attest to that. It took me 2 days, and I thought I was literally going to die. And it was more of an experiment than a real need or want to start drinking. So, and even I've had some beers, like I think last night we went out for dinner, or I'll have a beer on a Friday. But I mean, and this is unheard of. I'll have one and I'll leave a portion in the bottle and drink it just for, kind of taste. And I never understood guys that drank before that I'd be with that could have one beer and it's just, for taste. And now I do. Like, as a matter of fact, I drink it so slow that it starts getting warm that I don't even want to drink it. So that's a real incredible side effect in a very positive way that I've seen from Mounjaro. And it's one of the things I figured, I didn't train today, but what am I going to talk about today on the vlog? And I think that if someone, you need to lose weight, great, Mounjaro's great. It's also got some really incredible side effects. And I know too, the other side is I really feel mentally balanced when I'm on Mounjaro. There's got to be, I know they're doing studies. I was listening to the guy, the CEO of Johnson & Johnson that makes Mounjaro, and he was on the All In podcast, and he was telling stories about how people, again, drinking, depression, mental, bipolar, all sorts of things that they're starting to do studies because people have been saying, hey, this is really helping me out in a way that is completely unexpected. I thought it was coming in for weight loss. And that's one of the reasons that I can't see myself ever stopping it, and why I've set up a protocol where I'm microdosing it. I watched a conference. So, there's podcasts, and then there's conferences that people will videotape. And so I was watching a conference where they had the doctors, and, it's poorly produced. It's someone in the back corner. We've all been to them, right? Like trade organization stuff. And they had a bunch of the experts on GLP-1s. And what they were talking about was they feel that GLP-1s are something that people should be on indefinitely, that it's no different than if you were taking a cholesterol pill or a high blood pressure pill. It's not like you get cured and then, you get off the pill. It's something that you maintain and you take regularly. So they were talking about GLP-1s being similar and microdosing. And I can tell you that I am going to continue on this. I've already got a protocol where I take a small dose every third day. And, it allows me to train, and I can, I'm still easily eating, 1,800 to 2,400 calories, but I still don't have the desire to eat junk food or greasy food. And I am able to stop eating. And then again, like I said, the benefits, I think even more than that or as much, is I'm not drinking as much. And not drinking is the level that I did is definitely good for the health. And it's also good for the mental state because, waking up after a wicked night is not fun. And it's also just a good thing all around that it eliminates the amount of regrets that you could have. I can't tell you how many times I woke up as like, what? Looking at my Facebook or whatever. I said that to who? Or on Twitter or whatever. And, you know, never a good thing, especially when you have the personality I do. So that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Tomorrow I start training back again, Tuesday till Sunday. Monday's a break. But if you're watching this and you know, you're thinking, should I go on Mounjaro or not? I'm not going to recommend you do or you don't, but I'm just going to say that there's a lot of other benefits that if you're struggling with some other stuff, it might help you in those areas as well. Anyhow, over and out, retraining pain. Have a good one.